What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Piscean Predator. I'm back with that TPP True Crime Talk. Before we jump into this video topic, can you go ahead and smash that like and that subscribe for your boy? Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys. Topic for this video is the ice cream man murder trial. Now, I know not a lot of people have been following this one. At least it doesn't seem that way. I haven't seen a lot of videos posted about it. But this trial has had it all, man. It's been a roller coaster ride. Started off real slow, like you were climbing, to the top of that Goliath peak, and then just something happened, and the floor dropped out from under everybody, and the excitement ensued. So, my last video, I talked about how just defense is like absolutely destroying the prosecution, right? Every witness that has come up, they have pulled their contradictions, poked holes in their stories, the whole nine. Well, today, no different. We got to see 3 different witnesses today, and all of them got wrecked by defense. Absolutely wrecked. And if not wrecked, at least in the first witness's case, what she brought to the table, at least for me, and what she said for me, it contradicted her husband's story, who is the witness I said that sounds like he's actually the suspect. It was crazy. So anyways, let's break it down for you guys. So Miss Smith, right, wife of witness Mr. Smith, well, let's leave his first name out of it, so I'm not considered, doxing an exact person or saying that an exact person's name is guilty. All you gotta do is go back and watch the trial, though, see what I'm talking about. And like I said, I always implore everybody to go back and look at the videos that I'm talking about and see if what I'm conveying to you is exactly what's being said, so you can get consistency with me, right? So I can be accountable for the things I'm saying, because if I'm off on something, I need to be told. But anyways, that being said, okay, Miss Smith gets up and basically recounts some of the same story her husband had recounted, except for there's some more information. More information comes out on her testimony, right? And important information, like the fact that she knew the victims. Like, she knew at least one of the victims that was there that night that got shot up at, the murders that Michael Keetley's being accused of. Which, right off the gate, is like, what? How the hell weren't they investigated? How weren't they investigated? It makes no sense, right? And then, okay, so we know that somehow the surviving victims got a picture of Michael Keetley, and somebody told them Michael Keetley did it, but nobody wanted to say how they got it or who gave it to them. Well, now we know. The Smiths straight up have a connection to Michael Keetley and the individuals that were shot, right? Okay. No way, dude. For real? And investigation didn't go their way? Like, as soon as their names were pulled up, like, there wasn't a deep dive on their electronics, their phones, all that? Like, what? Come on, dude. We know how these whole murder things go, right? You look at the people closest to them, right? And any connections to them. So Keetley had no connections to these people, except for the fact that he sold ice cream in the area and was robbed and shot in that area, and was doing his own little self-investigation area, because the police department there, I mean, absolutely is inept at their job. So, right. Make it make sense. But, all right, so then she drops another little, pearl of wisdom. And that's that when her and her husband went shooting on Michael Keetley's property, they retrieved the shells that they retrieved out of respect and cleanup, even though it sounds like they use those areas and don't really clean up everything they shoot on a regular, that being Michael Keetley and his family or whoever shoots there. So they went out and shot with Michael prior to these murders taking place, shot the same caliber of guns that were used in that was used in the murders, collected the brass at the end, right? Which there's no saying whose gun that brass came out of, because they took all the brass, right, from the shooting day, right? So they could have got Michael's brass as well as their brass. Okay, now this brass, okay, after the investigation goes towards Michael Keetley, because some mystery picture comes up from the streets, and all of a sudden all these guys are saying, oh yeah, this is the guy, right? Because obviously they trust whoever gave them that picture, which who else is going to give them that picture besides somebody that either knows what happened and knows Michael Keetley, or did it and wants to frame Michael Keetley. So, you know what I'm saying? Get where I'm going with this? Like, it gets better, guys. So, she knows one of the surviving witnesses, one of the surviving victims, Mrs. Smith, right? Her and her husband have shot guns on Keetley's property. The only ballistics freaking evidence that they have in this case is that the fact that those shell casings from that day of shooting matches shell casings from the day of the murder, right? You follow me, right? Okay. But those ballistics do not match Michael Keetley's gun. I'm going to say that again. The shell casings found at the murder scene match the shell casings, right, that Mr. and Mrs. Smith kept from the day of their shooting and kept in a storage unit, even though they don't reload brass and it wasn't going to be melted down for anything. It was kept in a bag in a storage container for no reason until the murders happened. And then the investigation goes towards Michael Keetley because somebody magically, mysteriously from the streets gave this picture to these gentlemen and said, this is the guy that did it. What? Serious. And then it gets better, right? Then it gets better. So already so many things have been called into question. And then today, like my whole theory of one of the witnesses being more of a suspect than Michael Keetley, that was literally, they put a stamp on that for me today when that witness's wife got up and then cleared up those little things. Now, we'll wait for the why somebody would do this and then set Michael up, because I think I have a theory on it. I mean, a couple, but let's go ahead and progress this. So the ballistics, right? Forensic, the specialist, she talked today, man. And, basically, like I said, she was able to match the ballistics from both the markings on both those shell casings from the crime scene and from that day of shooting that they had retrieved from Mr. Smith's property in a trailer in a bag that he just kept for no reason. Okay? And she was able to match those together, but they did not match Michael Keetley's gun. And they've never matched it to a gun. And I believe that's because the fact that that gun is owned by Mr. Smith, or has been probably destroyed considering he's a machinist. Yeah. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Like, literally every part of this investigation has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. But it gets better. It gets better. So it would seem that because the state, the prosecution, probably knew that they had nothing, they were going to go ahead and bring one of the surviving victims and give him a deal to be a witness. And what I mean by that is one of these surviving victims had given his statements, right, deposition, even after the statements, so multiple times where he gave a story, right? And his story was this gentleman that had done this to these guys, right? He was 6'2", 250 to 280, right? Okay. And then today, when he's on the stand, all of a sudden now he's trying to say that the guy was like maybe 6'1", maybe 6'2", 180. Like, bro, that is a drastic change. And then he proceeds, and I'm not victim shaming, right? This will make sense. It'll make sense. Don't worry. Don't get all mad at me right now. Okay. Then he proceeds to tell a story of the whole event and what happens. And basically the story he gives describes a assassin, bro. A man is either a straight up paid killer doing a hit, or a man who's getting revenge and knows how to wield a firearm and is physically capable of manhandling men, multiple men, right? Having the confidence to deal with multiple men at one time. One time. I repeat that. Michael Keetley, at this point in time, was dealing with injuries that made it hard for him to even shoot a gun, right? So how is Michael Keetley going to roll up on all these men, demand their IDs, have them get on the ground, and then when one of the men starts, fighting those requests, this dude starts just popping everybody. And the description of how he did it, it wasn't just popping. He held the dude down with his foot at one point. Like, I'm telling you, it was crazy, okay? Now, where this whole testimony with this individual goes sideways, right, is not just as he gives this description that's completely different than a description he's given 2 other times, right? And then this description of this event, which doesn't even sound like Michael Keetley can physically even do this. It's impossible, right? Then the prosecutor, Mr. Escobar, my Lord, he got up there and basically made this man look like the most unreliable source on earth, because basically what he pulls out is, look, you have changed your story all of a sudden in 2023 to something that's completely drastically different on the description of the suspect. And why is that? And Escobar explained it to us. Straight up, he explained it to us. It's basically, yeah, this man was looking at doing 45 years. 45 years for stuff that he did. And I guess between 2020 and 2022, this man is a bad man. Yes, he's a surviving victim. And what happened to some of the people there was an absolute horrible thing. But, dude, you're going to come up and literally for the prosecution and be a witness for the prosecution and recant everything you said, and especially one in the deposition, so you can save your own ass from 40-something years of prison. I mean, we all know these guys do this, right, when they get the opportunity, but it's like, man, that's crazy, bro. Like, you didn't think that was going to be figured out? And some of these issues, right, these legal issues this gentleman's had is literally this, lying in the courts. Like, I mean, his credibility literally was shot to hell. So he came up there all dressed all nice and crying during his story and stuff, which, I mean, you were living a traumatic situation like that and you think your life's about to be taken, I'm sure that's going to bring tears. I'm not saying it's not, but yeah, what he was saying on that stand, as far as like description of the man that did it and the description of the way the man did it, it's 100% not Michael Keetley that did that. The man that he described in the original reports literally fits to a T almost Mr. Smith, a witness that's already stood on the stand in this freaking trial. And the thing is prosecution, right? They've wanted to let these witnesses go, that they're done with them. But defense has held them for recall. And there's a reason, man. Because I got a strong feeling that this defense attorney, Mr. Escobar, I think he's put the puzzle pieces together to the fact that there's a good chance that this Mr. Smith has done this. Like, he has the physical capabilities. He's a machinist. He can make a gun modified to accomplish the goals at hand. The way the gun's described doesn't make any sense. It's described almost as a pump shotgun, but it's shooting 45 calibers. And we know that there are pump action 45 caliber carbines, right? Old school Colt. We know that, right? But the amount of shots that were shot seems like it's a higher capacity than what one of those guns could carry. But then you got to factor in that this gentleman, you know, he is a machinist, and could he have possibly modified this gun to hold more, or modified another similar carbine or smaller rifle to do the same action? I don't know. Just throwing that out there. But definitely this man would be able to manufacture a firing pin, right, to fit in a gun with the same pattern on the firing pin that a Glock has, but it not be the Glock that's shooting it. But when the brass comes out, it'll have those, you know, those characteristics of a casing that was shot by a Glock. Basically what I'm saying. So there's definitely a lot that could explain the description of the firearm used. But the firearm that was used had to have two hands on it. Michael Keetley couldn't have pulled that off. He could not have pulled off a pump action gun and hold down multiple men with one gun and start taking dudes out. It's not happening, bro. You can go sell that crap to somebody else, because I ain't buying that. Oh man. So as of today, like, there's no way, bro. There's no way Keetley did this, man. This man is innocent. And I hope there's investigators watching this trial. And if there's any way that that investigation can literally get reopened, like, I believe that their suspect literally is a witness in this trial and has taken the stand. And I believe his wife, and the way that she was reacting on the stand today, like, her mouth went dry, she was like coughing, she had a hard time talking. Like, she didn't know Michael Keetley like that, so I don't see why you would have the stress of feeling bad or whatever that you got to come testify against a guy. She almost seemed like a woman testifying, right, that was trying to hide stuff or protect somebody. Like, she showed all the signs of being highly stressed and possibly, you know, deceitful in a way. Not so much as directly telling a lie, but maybe leaving some stuff out and answering, you know, kind of matter-of-factly, which is something that would probably happen if your husband was the actual killer. Just saying. Oh yeah, and we'll just throw in the fact too that Mr. Smith, right, the witness that I'm not accusing, I'm just allegedly possibly might have done it. Yeah, he's very savvy with gun use too, not just how to work on guns and shoot guns, but like mounted shooting and stuff. Like, we're talking like revolvers and stuff like that. This man is proficient with wielding a firearm. Like, come on, man. All right, guys, I could probably keep going with this. Like, there's so many little minute things in each one of the testimonies from the witnesses today where I was like, oh my god, like, are they putting this together? Is there somebody from law enforcement watching this? They need to be investigating this. Like, what is going on? Yeah, we could go for days. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you're following the trial, or you're at least following me rambling about the trial and keeping you guys up to date, let me know what you guys think down in there in the comments. And other than that, man, I'll see you guys on the next video. It's your boy, the Piscean Predator. Much love, y'all. Peace.